Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to actually upload a file to Moneris via SFTP file upload and process a batch transaction file. So in order to access the server, what you need is you need a username and a password, and that's going to be specific to your user, your merchant account. So the username you should already have. Username is actually comes on the activation letter. It's the store ID that you log into your account with. So if you have your activation letter, this is what the activation letter looks like. So it says eSELECTplus merchant information sheet, and then we just zoom in here. You'll see it has the information right here. So it has the store ID, the MONCA number or MONMPG, and then it has the merchant ID. So one common pitfall is to sort of reverse it to use the merchant ID, the 003, to log in, which doesn't work, versus the store ID. So just make sure you use the store ID. The other trick is the store ID has to be like it's case sensitive. So if it's all lowercase on your sheet, then it should be all lowercase when you log in, no capitals. So just close that. The other thing you need is you need to have a password. So in order to get your SFTP password, so even if you've called Moneris Sales, you've got everything on your account, you still need a password. So to get your password, you just open up the documentation here, and then I believe it's on page 13. It'll say here, how do I send a transaction? It says to receive your SFTP username and password, have your main contact person email eSELECTplus at Moneris. So when you email, you just got to have them provide all this information. So the store ID, the business address, phone, and fax number. And then what they'll do is they'll create the account for you, then they'll fax the number on a special sheet. So the sheet looks just like this. Here's the sheet. So you'll get a sheet from Moneris that'll look like this. It says, fax, Moneris Solutions. I'll have your address and your phone number. And then right here it'll say password, and the password's case sensitive. So just watch out if you have like a 1 or an L or an I, just watch out for that, just because they look very similar. So you want to make sure just type the right one in, otherwise you might get rejected when you try to log in. So just close that. So now we'll actually try and see if we can try and connect. So I'll just leave this. So it's helpful to maybe print this out or just have it available on the screen so you can refer to it. So what you do is you go to Start. And I'm going to show you how to set up FileZilla. So this is how you set up FileZilla. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Site Manager, and then we're going to create a new site. This is just so that we do it once and then we don't have to do it again. So the host address, so if we go back to our sheet, I'm going to be connecting to the test environment. I'm not going to be using the production environment. Your real account won't work on test, so you have to use this test account here, these test credentials here, if you want to just do testing. You don't want to do real transactions. The production account is going to be those credentials that you just did in that last step. So I'm going to put in the test host address, which is esqa.moneris, moneris.com, and then the port is going to be port 22, which is listed on the sheet, port 22 for both. And then we're going to change it from FTP to SFTP. And then the logon type, we're going to change it from anonymous to normal. And then the username for the test account is store3. The password is store3. And then we're just going to click connect. Actually, you could probably rename this. Call it Moneris. Call it whatever you want. And just click connect. So it's going to try and connect to Moneris. And then it's going to ask if you want to trust the server's key, and you just click OK. That's just a security thing. And so there we go, we're connected. So I'll just make this maximize. So on this side of the screen, this is your computer. So this is where you would actually navigate to the file on your computer and then upload it. On this side, this is this is Moneris. This is the Moneris system. So yours might look different. You might have a different set of folders because this is the. You might not have any. It's going to depend. It's going to be different for your account. So what you want to do is this is called the root directory. This would be, if I clicked in here, this would be like a subdirectory. So we want to make sure we're in the root directory, the one you log into at the beginning. And then so what we're going to do is we're going to have to find the file. So we got to search for the file. You got to look at all the directories, try to find out where that file was that you want to upload. For me, I just put it on the desktop just to make it easy. So here's my file. That's what it looks like. So one thing I noticed about the file name for mine is there's no spaces. I used underscores, and there's no. The CSV is lowercase. You really do want to make sure that you don't have any spaces, otherwise the system just won't recognize it, and you'll get like what's happened over here where it says .locked. So if you see .locked, that means you've got the file name is incorrectly. So someone's uploaded a file and you can see that there's a space there, and that's why their file's not working. If you have capital letters, you'll also get .locked. So it's pretty simple. There's two ways you can upload a file. You can either drag it over like this, just to this white space here, and upload it, or you can just double click it. In this case, I'll just double click it. That's pretty easy. And it'll transfer, and you'll see the files appeared over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to refresh the page by pressing F5. And then what'll happen is eventually it takes about 30 seconds to a minute, but the computer will recognize that you've uploaded a file, and then it'll immediately start trying to process it. So there you go. So the file's disappeared. So that's sort of a security feature. It loads it into memory, deletes it. That way it's not just sitting there with credit cards for someone to go after. So it's already gone. And then what will happen is it'll process. You might see it in the processing folder. There it is in the processing folder, and then eventually it'll move to the out folder. So this is where you want to look for your response file. You want to sort of look in here, and so this is a test server. There's lots of other people doing testing, but your file will have your file name. So in my case, example batch file.csv, and it'll have .out appended to the end. So that's what you got to look for. So you just got to refresh and sort of wait for yours to process. So there, mine's finished processing. So I'm going to just open it up now and view that. That looks good. I'll use that. Just use Notepad to open it up. And then so for me, I've already sent this order ID before. So my transaction didn't actually work. So this is one thing you gotta watch out for is if you send a duplicate order ID, you'll get this kind of error. So I'll just correct for that really quick here. Here's my file. So and then I'll just add some random letters to make my order ID a little bit more unique, and then I'll save that, and then I'll just try, and I'll go back to the root directory, and I'll upload my file again. So one thing is, if you upload the file again, what it's going to do, it's going to overwrite the old file, so your old results will be gone. So if you want to keep your old results on the system, you got to come up with a new file name. You could use the data or something like that. So in this case, I'm just going to overwrite it. Doesn't matter. So there we go. It's gone. It's processing, and then should just be a minute here. Okay, so here's the results. So we can see that there's an approved transaction, there's another approved transaction, another approved transaction. So this is just Notepad, puts it all in one line. If you open this up in another file editor like WordPad or something, they would all be on one line all the way down. That's pretty much it. What each of these columns mean, you can just look at the documentation. It'll specify in the documentation what the response file actually means. But that's pretty much it. That's all you have to do to upload a batch file to Moneris.